So yeah, I watched Miss Marvel and I didn't think it was complete trash, but it wasn't that great either. And you know, this is only my opinion and all. Well, yeah, it's my opinion, it's my video, but we all know not liking a piece of entertainment designed for entertaining is going to hurt some people's feelings. So don't see this video as an attack on you, and spoiler alert for the first season of Miss Marvel. So what is the problem with Miss Marvel? It's that it doesn't understand the basic concept of building momentum and agency in a story, because really Miss Marvel the show has no agency for its protagonist. And again, I don't hate the show, it just could have been a lot better with agency and narrative momentum. Let's talk about it. Now, what do Miss Marvel lack? Like I said, narrative momentum, that refer to the flow or drive of a story, as well as the investment of an audience in that progression. We need a clear point B to run at from our point A, meaning that the story must flow in a natural way between like point A to point B to point C. And it also lacks agency in storytelling, that is, if the characters are able to contribute to the story in a meaningful way. Basically, it's about your character making things happen instead of things happening to them. Now, how does this apply in the show? Well, the first episode was great as establishing Kamala, her family, her friend, and her struggle, while also making her relatable. And they introduced Damage Control as antagonist, which is great pacing wise. Overall, this episode is great, nothing bad to say really. It's a really good episode, I think. But then by episode 2, no goal for Kamala is introduced. Yes, the Damage Control people appear and search for her, but she is still reactionary, which by episode 2 of a 22 to 13 episode show is fine. But with a 6 episode show, especially if story driven, having a main character that has no agency by episode 2, well, let's just say it doesn't work as well. But it's also not that bad yet. By the end of the episode, she runs into Damage Control and is saved by the hot kid she met the same episode. Still possible for now, even if the show need to go into second gear soon. The episode itself was fine. Episode 3, she learned her new origin story as she is in this version a Jinn, and I don't know if I said that right, and not an inhuman. She learned she needs to send the Jinn back to their world, but they don't say when, so she still get no direct agency to do it. Half the episode in and still no agency. Okay, fine. Then by the end, Kamala say it can be dangerous, so let's see if there's a safer way to do it, like send the Jinn back to their world. The Jinn don't like it, they attack Kamala, and the fight ends with the Jinn in prison. So to recap, the show took the focus from Damage Control to the Jinn without creating any agency for the protagonist. Then the Jinn turn on her only at the end of the episode, where they are also captured by Damage Control, creating a situation where the tension, instead of rising for the main plot, reset at the start and end of the same episode. And this is the mid-season, killing its momentum twice in one episode while still having a character without agency, leaving both time Kamala at a place where she doesn't have to care about the previous plot point. Then in episode 4, they changed the whole setting and sidecast by making Kamala go see her grandma, which is cool in Moon Knight as the main player in the story stay the same even after he go to Egypt, but in Miss Marvel's case they changed all the sidecasts except her mother. They then introduced the Red Dagger, a group of superhero fighting the Jinn, because if the Jinn get what they want, it's the end of the world, which come out of nowhere. As far as building momentum naturally goes, it doesn't feel like going from point A to B or B to C, but going all the way from A to Y. Because why? Like, they just reset the tension last episode by putting the villain in literal prison. Now to say the world could end, at that point it's really impossible to feel like it's the case. Like, did it really need a save the world plot line? Really? Like, a simpler plot would have been better with the way the show refused to build momentum or agency. Then the Jinn escape, teleport to where Kamala is, as they had no way of going there that fast, fight with the Red Dagger, then someone we just met, and whose only purpose was, up until now, seeing its position die, like it's all he did, and frankly no one cares, because why would we? We don't know him. Maybe if it was someone we knew, like Kamala's brother, we would care, but no. the whole show is more into exploring Kamala's quest to learn who she is through her origin and who she wants to be, than to tell the story it is also trying to tell. Like it's two stories clashing with each other. Hell, it's more than two. And this created a situation where the show for more than half the episode now couldn't build ongoing tension or momentum until near the end of episode 4. By then, who really feel like the world could end? Who really cares? The show had no momentum leading into it anyway. Like really, are we supposed to believe there's a chance the MCU will end in the first season of Ms. Marvel? Now, before going into the last 2 episodes, I know a lot of you have already exited the video and disliked it. But I still like her character and some of the things in the show. The acting for one is pretty good, the cinematography at times is like nothing I ever saw with the way the show presents texting for example, but with no goal or agency. Story-driven show, no matter how good, will always fall short of feeling engaging to watch. Well, maybe not always, but most of the time it's the case. When Kamala is with her friend, it's fun. They act like relatable teenager and I always like a good teenage superhero story in Spider-Man's fashion, but the show is doing its best to have us not be invested in the story, and without investment, we don't care. Okay, episode 5 now. Finally, by the end of episode 4, Kamala has agency to stop the main villain. Well, kinda a little. I mean, it's hard not to when someone follow you around the world to fight you, but instead of focusing the episode on it, in episode 5, we get the backstory of Kamala's family, along with an important moment in history depicted in the show, which is cool. I like that episode's flashback as a standalone story, but with only 2 episodes to go and no real momentum or agency from a protagonist, it felt weird. I mean, I like it, those scenes in the flashback were powerful at times, but without proper momentum in the main story or agency for our character, it doesn't help the story flow better, it does the opposite. And take at least half the episode to focus on a new character and a mostly standalone story. It makes us care less about what's going on. Then after the cool but disconnected flashback, or even if we saw the main antagonist in it, we still didn't learn anything about her. We then, in the real time, like outside the flashback, see her sacrifice herself to stop the portal to go back to her world in a very rushed manner, mind you, after a quick conversation with the protagonist, and frankly that was pretty lame as an ending. Like they didn't really develop the character. It was like, oh no, it's gonna kill my son. Looked like I didn't thought of that. And ended the agency for protagonist that in all honesty was never there, and resetting the momentum once again by stopping the main antagonist and only antagonist left at that point in the show, plus the side story with her mom concluded here. Now we made it to the last episode where the first one did everything it needed to, the second one had the character have no agency, the episode 3 took the momentum away from the damage control plot that was building to put it on the Gen 1 that ended at the end of the same episode when they got put in prison. Episode 4 decided to change the setting, killing the momentum even more, which robbed the protagonist from its agency. To have only the end of the episode look like it was going somewhere story-wise, like concerning the main story, just to have episode 5 be mostly a flashback that ends with the villain dying in a super rush fashion, resetting the momentum and agency for our protagonist yet again.
That was the plan. Not a great plan.
Episode 6. Well, they tried their best to merge the Gen plot with the damage control one that was dropped in episode 3, while also having the episode being about our hero having found kinda who she wants to be. Did it work? Kinda, not really. The episode is okay. Basically, it felt like it was paying off to think that the show didn't spend enough time on. The show just doesn't know what it wanted to be, and the only way they found to make everything work is to do it in a way with no driving force in the story, with no momentum, and that made it even harder to invest ourselves in what they were trying to say, or we can't really care about the story. I think the story didn't need to have so many plot points, have the character change country, or even have a flashback to be good. It could have had them if they knew how to put them in the story without making it less interesting to watch as a whole, because it's hard to get interested in a story without momentum. We end up with a show where it's hard to care about anything in it, something bland, and it's what they did. Now maybe you thought the show was the best Marvel show ever, and again, it's fine. This is only my opinion and I like her character. Kamala is cool. Maybe I didn't adore the show, but maybe she will be the highlight in the Marvels, who knows. And the new power are not that bad, especially as the show is not a movie. So yeah, we made a lot of cool video on the channel that you could watch, and it would be really cool if you did, only if you want to. And don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you like the video and want more video like those. Thanks for watching.